Somebody asked me recently if you can switch personalities, and the answer is no. You cannot change or switch your personality. You were born with one personality and it stays that way for your whole life. Does that mean that you can't change and grow? No, absolutely not. You can definitely change and grow. You can improve some of your weaknesses. You can improve your strengths. You are constantly learning more and growing. You have different habits. You read books, watch inspiration on YouTube like you're watching right now. Of course, you can change and grow and become a better version of yourself, but that doesn't mean that your personality changes. So part of the part of the question was, what if the Myers-Briggs test comes up different at different times in my life? Well, one thing that you have to remember is that each letter is a percentage, right? So nobody is 100% introvert or 100% extrovert. So when you take the test, you have to look at the percentages and say, okay, maybe you're close to 50-50 on being an introvert and an extrovert. So sometimes when you feel more comfortable, you're going to be more extroverted, and other times you're going to be more introverted. And that's totally fine and completely normal. That doesn't mean that your personality has changed. It just means that sometimes you're feeling a little bit different than what you were feeling at other times, right? The other thing to consider, especially if you're an INFJ, is that we are really, really good at making other people feel comfortable. We are very good at people pleasing. In fact, we're actually the most ourselves when we're making other people happy, when we're making them feel comfortable. But a lot of us take it way too far. Instead of just making sure that everybody else is okay and then taking care of ourselves, we actually make sure that everybody else is okay to the point where we're hurting ourselves. And a lot of times that ends up with us wearing a mask for our personality because we're so good at chameleoning or becoming the people that other people want that we don't even know who we are as a person. I think about the friends that I have. If you got all of my friends together in one room and asked them about who I am as a person, they would all come up with different answers. And it's not because I'm 12 different people, it's because I'm a different person around each one of them, because I'm trying to make each one of them comfortable. And I feel comfortable showing different parts of my personality to each one of them. Now, again, that doesn't mean that I have 12 different personalities. It just means that a different part of me comes out when I'm around those people. So if you took the Myers-Briggs type indicator test when you were around somebody who made you feel like you had to be a certain way, then your personality type may come up in one way. But later in your life, when you are more comfortable with yourself, when you've stepped into your own a little bit more, then you take the test again and it may come up with a different personality, not because your personality has changed, but because you feel more comfortable being yourself and expressing yourself to the world. So, I mean, this could come up for a lot of different reasons. It could be the friends that you have, it could be your family. A lot of people, their family is a negative influence on them, or if you're like me, you feel like you have to be a certain way around your family, and that's not really the way that you are when you're not around your family. It could be that you're a certain way because of the church that you go to, or because of the school that you went to, because of the friends that you have at the time. But when you step away from those influences, then you feel totally different. So you can't have a different personality. You're born with the personality that you have. The best thing for you to do is to think about who you really want to be without all of those other influences. And sometimes it's really difficult because it's not like that change, it doesn't happen overnight. It may take you a while after you've stepped away from those people to actually figure out who you are. It's taken me years to figure out who I am. I had to fully step away from a lot of the people that had a big influence on me. And physically, I'm like 1,500 miles from my family. I live quite a ways away from most of my friends. A lot of my friends are like Facebook friends, um, because I needed that time and that space to figure out who I am and to start making my own decisions without other people influencing me. Now, that again, that doesn't mean that my personality changed. It just means that I figured out who I am as a person, and that's what I needed. So if you feel like your personality has changed, I would really encourage you to look at where you were in your life when you took the test the first time and where you are now and how you're answering the questions as well, because how you answer the questions is also a huge player in what 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 your personality type comes up as. A lot of times, especially we as INFJs, we answer the questions of those tests in a way that we want to be. Not how we are, not how we really act, but how we want to be, how we want to be perceived, how we aspire to be. When I first took the Myers-Briggs test, all of the questions that asked about do you focus on feelings or do you focus on facts and logic? It was natural for me to say, I focus on facts and logic. That's what I'm interested in. So when I took the test, my personality came up as INTJ because I answered all the questions saying I focus on facts and logic. And it took me several years and actually explaining the personality test to my niece and explaining to her, she got into an argument with her grandma, and I was trying to explain to her why she was in this argument and how to get out of it. And I kept telling her, you're focusing on all the facts and logic, and you need to be focused on feelings, because what you said was factually correct, but the way that you said it was you hurt your grandma's feelings. And it took my niece looking at that situation and going, I don't think that you're a thinking personality type. I think you're a feeling personality type because you're always focused on feelings. And I was like, oh, I guess that's true. I am focused on feelings a lot. So of course I should be a feeling personality type, right? At that point, I didn't understand enough about Myers-Briggs to really dive into what feeling and thinking meant and to how to see the differences in your life. But that experience led me to dive into that and to look at how I was answering the questions on the test. And I think a lot of people fall into that pitfall of saying, this is how I want to act. And so when you're taking the test, you answer the questions based on how you want to be or how you want other people to perceive you, but that's not the best way to answer the questions. It's also difficult for INFJs because it's really difficult for us to see ourselves. We're very, very good at focusing on other people. We're very good at recognizing their problems right away, identifying what they're going through, telling them what they need to do. That's why we're such great counselors. But when it comes to looking at ourselves, we really struggle. So when it comes to saying, okay, how do I act in this situation? Sometimes, like the situation that I got into, it's really difficult to say, this is actually how I am. And a lot of times it's admitting to yourself that you're that way. I didn't want to admit to myself that I was a feeling person. That to me was the most gross and disgusting thing ever. And people who say that you want to be an INFJ, I'm like, ugh, I don't really want to be an INFJ. I don't want to have all the feelings. I don't want to have to be worried about other people all of the time. I would much rather be logical and forget about all the feelings. But that's not how it works. When it comes to the day-to-day aspects of my life, I'm always focused on feelings. So for people who say you want to be an INFJ, yeah, that's not true. I don't want to be an INFJ. I wish I could be something else, but this is what I am. And part of it comes back to acceptance, right? You have to accept who you are. And with that acceptance, you can start to identify those things about yourself, maybe the things that you don't like, the things like, yeah, I'm not always focused on facts and logic. Sometimes, a lot of times I do bring that into the equation, but when it comes down to making a big decision, I usually go with what I want to do rather than what's factually the right thing to do. So getting back to, can you switch personalities? No, you can't switch personalities. There are a lot of things that go into how you're taking the Myers-Briggs test, your thoughts and feelings at the time. Another thing to consider is that some people answer the questions based on how they feel right now rather than how they feel in general, and that can throw off your test as well. But no, you definitely can't change personalities. You're born with one personality and you're stuck with that personality for your whole life. Hi there. I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm working very hard to produce content that will help you, and I really appreciate your support. Also, if you want some more inspiration, check out this video right here.